As the first rays of sunlight filter through the curtains, I slowly open my eyes, blinking away the remnants of slumber. A sense of contentment washes over me as I realize that the previous night's events weren't just a dream. Emily is truly back, and the happiness that fills me is palpable. I stretch and turn to look beside me, my heart soaring at the sight of her peacefully asleep, her hair spread out across the pillow. Determined to start the day on a positive note, I carefully slide out of bed, careful not to disturb Emily's slumber. As I quietly make my way to the kitchen, I decide to surprise her with breakfast. The familiarity of the kitchen comforts me, and I begin to prepare her favorite meal. Eggs, bacon, and pancakes, just the way she likes it. As I cook, a sense of joy and anticipation fills me, eager to share this simple but meaningful act of love and care with Emily. With the scent of pancakes wafting through the air, I transfer the fluffy discs to a plate, along with crisp bacon and fluffy scrambled eggs. The simple meal looks beautiful, and I know Emily will appreciate the effort I've put into making it. Balancing the tray carefully, I make my way back upstairs to our bedroom, excitement building with each step. As I enter the room, Emily stirs, her eyes fluttering open as if sensing my presence. A sleepy smile spreads across her face as she takes in the sight of me standing there, holding the breakfast tray. She sits up in bed, her hair tousled and her eyes still heavy with sleep, and I can see the joy and appreciation in her gaze as she looks at the breakfast I have prepared for her. I place the tray on the bedside table and perch on the edge of the bed, watching as Emily slowly awakens and takes in the sight of the food laid out before her. Her eyes light up as she sees her favorite breakfast, and a genuine smile stretches across her face. The sight warms my heart, and I can feel the love we share fill the room, more intense and profound than ever before. We share a moment of silence as she takes a bite, savoring the flavors and textures of the food I have made for her. I watch her, a wave of contentment and joy washing over me as I bask in the warmth of our connection. The simple act of preparing a meal for her, watching her enjoy it, and seeing the happiness it brings her feels like a miracle, a reaffirmation that love can indeed conquer death. As she finishes eating, Emily sets aside the tray and reaches for my hand, pulling me closer to her. We fall back onto the bed, our bodies entwined, and share a tender kiss, a silent promise of the love and devotion we share. In that moment, all doubts and fears melt away, replaced by a profound sense of belonging and gratitude that we are together again. We lay there, wrapped in each other's embrace, savoring the simplicity and contentment of our shared moment. As the morning unfolds, I find myself seated at my desk, my fingers dancing across the keyboard as I browse the internet. The mundane task is a comforting routine, a reminder of normalcy in the midst of this extraordinary situation. Emily is off in another part of the house, and I take this time to myself to catch up on news, read articles, and just enjoy the quiet solitude. After breakfast, I decide to catch up on some news and research online. I settle down at my desk and turn on my computer, the familiar hum of the machine providing a sense of normalcy amidst the extraordinary. As I browse the internet, I come across a news article about a famous legendary godlike being who has been known to grant wishes. A flicker of recognition passes through me as the mention of this godlike being triggers memories of the events of the night before. Could this be the same entity that brought Emily back to life? Curious to learn more, I delve into the article and find that this godlike being is said to possess the power to bring people back from the dead, often for those who have lost someone they love. My heart skips a beat as I read this, the connection to my own situation becoming more apparent. It seems that the pieces of the puzzle are beginning to fit together, and a sense of awe and wonder fills me as I realize the true depth of the deity's power and benevolence. After spending some time researching the news article, I decide to take a break and relax by watching some YouTube videos. I log in and browse through my suggested videos, finding content that ranges from cat videos to science documentaries. As I watch a few videos, I can feel my stress and anxieties melt away, and the simplicity and familiarity. After reading the article, I take a break from my research and decide to watch some YouTube videos to relax. I click on a funny compilation, and the sounds of laughter fill the room. In between videos, an ad plays showcasing a new movie release. It's a romantic comedy, the kind of movie Emily and I used to watch together. The sight of it brings a smile to my face, and I reminisce about the countless nights we spent cuddled up on the couch, sharing popcorn and dreams of the future. As I continue browsing through YouTube videos, a thumbnail catches my eye. A still from the game FNAF, Five Nights at Freddy's 4. A chill runs down my spine as I remember the horror game's eerie atmosphere and the jump scares that had haunted me for days. Despite the lingering fear, I can't help but feel a sense of nostalgia for the adrenaline rush and the thrill of playing the game. As I click on the video, memories of my own gaming experience come flooding back. I recall the intense anticipation and tension of holding a flashlight and peering into each room, waiting for the sudden appearance of the terrifying animatronics. A mix of fear and excitement washes over me as I realize how much I enjoyed the challenge of the game, despite the sleepless nights it caused. The idea pops into my head to actually play the game in real life, using a body camera to record the experience. I imagine wandering through the nightmarish atmosphere of FNAF 4, armed with my gun to protect myself from the animatronic threats. The thought of bringing all the thrill and adrenaline of the video game into reality, armed with my own tools and equipment, sends a shiver down my spine and fills me with excitement. Feeling a surge of determination, I decide to take the plunge and play Five Nights at Freddy's 4 in real life tonight. Armed with a body camera to record the experience and my gun for protection, I plan to venture into the eerie abandoned house and face off with the nightmarish animatronics. The anticipation and excitement grow within me as I prepare for the challenge ahead. As part of my preparations, I plug in my body camera to ensure it's fully charged for the upcoming night. The red charging light blips on, indicating that it's now charging. Knowing that I'll have a record of the entire experience brings a sense of satisfaction and reassurance. I begin mentally mapping out the areas I plan to explore and the strategies I'll use to defend myself from the animatronic threats. With my preparations underway, I head out to the local sporting goods store to purchase additional and more potent ammunition for my firearm. The thought of facing off with the nightmarish animatronics in the abandoned house fuels my determination to be as well equipped as possible. As I reach the ammo aisle, I survey the various options, carefully selecting the most powerful and effective munitions that will give me an edge in the encounter. The weight of the extra ammunition feels reassuring as I head back home, the anticipation building with each step. I know that the challenges that await me in the Five Nights at Freddy's universe will require every advantage I can get. With my body camera and additional firepower, I feel more prepared than ever to face the nightmarish creatures lurking in the darkness of the abandoned house. As I prepare for the intense night ahead, I make sure that my police uniform is in top shape. I wash and press it, ensuring that it's crisp and wrinkle-free. The familiar weight and feel of the uniform brings a sense of security and purpose. As the afternoon progresses, I tend to my final preparations for the night's challenge. I decide to clean and press my police uniform, ensuring it's pristine and ready for the ordeal ahead. The sight of the freshly ironed fabric and the emblem sewn on the chest fills me with a sense of pride and determination. I know that wearing the uniform will not only give me a sense of authority, but may also act as a psychological boost during the scary encounters. With the cleaning and ironing complete, I carefully hang the freshly laundered uniform on a drying rack, ensuring it retains its crisp lines and cleanliness. As I stand back and take in the sight of it, gleaming in the light, I feel a sense of purpose and readiness wash over me. I know that the uniform represents not only my profession, but also the character traits that will be crucial in facing off against the menacing animatronics. For lunch, I savor a delectable plate of buffalo chicken wings with a side of crispy fries and a refreshing salad. The fiery sauce adds a satisfying kick to the tender chicken, while the crunchy fries provide a delicious contrast. The vibrant greens in the salad add a refreshing touch, making the meal a complete and satisfying experience. As I savor each bite, the flavors and textures tantalize my taste buds, further fueling my excitement for the night's challenge. With lunch finished and the afternoon stretching ahead, I take the opportunity to relax for the rest of the day in preparation for the upcoming challenge. With the preparations made and the adrenaline building, I decide to engage in activities that help calm my nerves and keep my mind focused. I catch up on some news, listen to soothing music, and even indulge in a relaxing bath, knowing that I'll need all my energy for the intense night ahead. As the evening turns into night, I begin to prepare for the looming challenge. With careful precision, I put on my freshly cleaned and pressed police uniform, each piece falling into place as I button up the shirt and don the badge. I look in the mirror, taking in my appearance, and a surge of determination washes over me as I remember the weight of the duty that lies ahead. With my police uniform on, I move on to equipping myself with additional protective gear. The helmet goes on, providing a sense of security and concealment. Then, with a firm tightening of the straps, I slip on the bulletproof vest, its reassuring weight a constant reminder of the potential dangers that lie ahead. As I adjust the vest for a comfortable yet secure fit, I feel my confidence build, knowing that the extra protection will be crucial in facing the animatronic threats. In addition to the necessary protective gear, I decide to grab my police gas mask, even though its use may not be directly relevant in the FNAF 4 house. However, the sight of it conveys a sense of authority and determination, and I want the animatronic threats to know that I'm not messing around. The mask adds an extra element of intimidation, as if to say, I'm prepared for anything you can throw at me. With the gear in place, I double-check that everything is secure and in position. The sight of my fully equipped self in the mirror fills me with a sense of strength and determination. I take a deep breath, knowing that the moment of truth is near. The clock on the wall strikes 11 p.m., and I know that the hours of darkness and terror have begun. With a sharp exhale, I prepare myself for the nightmare that awaits me in the abandoned house of FNAF 4. I gather the essentials for the night ahead, the body camera, my trusted handgun, and my keys. The weight of the firearm in my hand brings a sense of security, while the presence of the body camera signifies that the experience will be documented for future review. With a final glance at my uniform to ensure everything is in place, I head for my Hummer, the reliable vehicle that will transport me to the eerie destination, the abandoned house of FNAF 4. As I slip into the driver's seat of my Hummer and start the engine, a mix of excitement and nerves rush through me. The hum of the engine serves as both a reassuring presence and a signal that the mission is underway. I fasten my seatbelt, and with a final glance in the mirror to ensure my uniform and gear are still in place, I put the vehicle in drive and set off into the darkness toward the abandoned house, ready to face the nightmare that awaits. As the Hummer cruises through the quiet city streets, my mind begins to race with thoughts of the challenges ahead. The anticipation of what lies waiting in the abandoned house builds within me, and I know that the night will bring more than just a few scares. The city lights blur past, the streetlights casting eerie shadows upon the road ahead. It feels like the calm before the storm, and I can't help but wonder what horrors await me within the darkened halls of FNAF 4. With my destination in sight, I turn off the main road and follow the path leading to the dreaded FNAF 4 house. The road becomes increasingly uneven and ominous as I approach the abandoned house. The tall trees looming on either side cast eerie shadows, adding to the tense atmosphere. My grip tightens on the wheel as I approach the final stretch, my heart pounding with anticipation and dread. Just as I park in front of the abandoned house, a sudden thunderstorm rolls in, the sky darkening and the air filled with a sense of foreboding. The rain begins to beat down, soaking the surroundings and adding to the menacing atmosphere. As lightning bolts streak across the sky, the eerie flickering lights illuminate the house and cast shadows on the surrounding trees. The sound of the rain pounding on the Hummer's roof and the crackle of thunder create a backdrop of terror, almost as if the universe itself is preparing for the nightmare ahead. With the rain pouring down and lightning illuminating the house in flashes, I quickly prepare myself and rush out of the Hummer, ducking under the downpour to avoid getting drenched before entering the treacherous FNAF 4 house. The sound of rain and thunder echo in my ears, adding to the sense of urgency and eeriness. The moment of truth has arrived, and I brace myself for the horrors that lurk within the darkened halls of the abandoned house. As I step into the house, the rain continues to lash against the exterior, the sound of thunder echoing in the distance. The darkness is almost complete, save for the occasional flashes of lightning casting eerie shadows on the walls. I clutch my handgun tightly, the weight providing a sense of security. With each step, I move through the house, my senses heightened and my heart pounding in my chest, the anticipation of encountering the nightmare animatronics building with each breath. With a click, I switch on the flashlight on the handgun, casting a beam of light forward to illuminate the dark interior of the house. The light cuts through the shadows, revealing a maze of eerie corridors and rooms. My footsteps echo softly in the silence, the rain outside a faint backdrop to the tension within. I can hear my own heartbeat, the pounding growing louder and faster as I delve deeper into the nightmarish house. The interior of the house shocks me as I take in the opulent surroundings. The place is like a mansion with lavish furniture, intricate wooden floors, and rich red wallpaper that gives the house a sense of grandeur. It's almost like I've stepped into a different era, and the contrast between the luxurious setting and the eerie atmosphere creates an uneasy feeling. I can't help but wonder what secrets lie hidden in this lavish yet haunting abode. With my guard raised, I step into the living room, the sight of the opulent surroundings sending a chill down my spine. The place is furnished with ornate couches, plush chairs, and a grand fireplace, adding to the luxurious yet eerie feel of the house. As the flashlight pans across the room, the shadows seem to dance and shift, making it feel even more unsettling. I can't shake the feeling that something sinister lurks in this room, just waiting for the right moment to strike. Seizing the opportunity, I switch on the fireplace, and a warm glow spreads through the room, casting a golden light over the surroundings and chasing away the shadows. It's a stark contrast to the cold, dark atmosphere outside, and for a brief moment, it feels almost cozy and inviting despite the looming danger. I bask in the momentary warmth, knowing that it won't last long in this nightmarish house. As I explore further, the downstairs proves to be a labyrinth of opulence and mystery. The kitchen is a modern space with gleaming appliances, while the foyer features a grand staircase leading to the upper floors. The extra rooms reveal lavish decorations and antique furniture, each one telling a different story. Despite the luxury of the surroundings, I can't help but feel a sense of unease and foreboding, knowing that the real horror awaits me in the upstairs corridors of the FNAF 4 house. As I make my way up the grand staircase, the atmosphere becomes more tense. The upper floor features a spacious living room with large windows overlooking the stormy night outside. The room is decorated with antique furnishings and a grand piano, and it's hard to believe that something sinister could lurk here. Despite the comfort of the surroundings, the eerie silence fills the air, and I can't shake the sense that something is watching me, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. As I delve further into the upstairs level, I stumble upon a room with pink wallpaper, and the sight takes me aback. Despite the ominous atmosphere, the room has a feminine touch, with a bed adorned with pink blankets and a plush teddy bear sitting on a chair. It feels like I've walked into a young girl's dream room, and the eerie contrast between the girlish surroundings and the fear that lingers in the air is unsettling. I can't help but wonder what secrets lie hidden in this strangely feminine room. As I take a closer look inside the room, the realization dawns on me. This room looks almost identical to the bedroom of Elizabeth Afton. Confused and taken aback, I try to reconcile the fact that the FNAF 4 house looks nothing like the house the Afton family lives in. It's as if I've stumbled upon a glitch in the fabric of reality, a place where the lines between what's real and what's not have become blurred. The more I explore this strange chamber, the more questions bubble up in my mind. As I make my way back into the hallway, I can't shake the feeling that the house is playing tricks on me. The strange room that looks like Elizabeth Afton's has left me puzzled, and I wonder if there's more to this house than meets the eye. The hallway stretches ahead, dark and foreboding, and I can't help but feel a growing sense of unease. As I continue my exploration, I hold the flashlight tightly, ready to face whatever horrors await me in this nightmarish house. As I turn down another hallway, my flashlight beam lands on a door to a bedroom with gray wallpaper, a video game console, and a larger-sized bed. This room has a different feel compared to the previous one, giving off a more masculine vibe. The presence of the video game console suggests that this room was once used by children who enjoyed their share of games. The ominous atmosphere and the knowledge that nightmares await me fill me with both curiosity and apprehension. The realization hits me like a punch to the gut. This room could be none other than Michael Afton's. But how could that be? His bedroom is never shown in the game. My mind reels with confusion and disbelief, and a chill runs down my spine. The longer I stand in this room, the more I sense that something otherworldly is at play here, and the boundaries between the real and the unreal are crumbling around me. Feeling more than a little on edge, I reluctantly leave the room and continue down another hallway. The surroundings are eerily quiet, the silence broken only by the distant thunder outside and the creaking of the floorboards underfoot. The shadows seem to move and stretch in the dim light, adding to the unsettling aura. As I walk, my nerves are on high alert, my senses heightened as I brace myself for whatever lurks in the depths of the mysterious FNAF 4 house. As I move through the corridor, the sound of my footsteps echoes softly in the darkness. The path leads to another room, its entrance outlined by a faint beam of light. I approach cautiously, my nerves on edge as I prepare to face whatever lies ahead. The air feels thick with anticipation, and deep down I know that the true horrors lie waiting just beyond the threshold. As the door creaks open, the sight of the bedroom from the game greets me, a sense of dread settling over me like a cold shroud. The room is exactly as it appears in the game, the dardos cast by the dim light adding to the eerie atmosphere. My heart pounds in my chest, knowing that this is the room where the nightmares begin. The knowledge that the horrors of FNAF 4 are just waiting to be unleashed within these walls fills me with a mixture of fear and determination. As my eyes scan the room, the familiar sight of the Freddy plushie on the bed and the same toys on the floor brings a sense of unease. It's as if I've stepped into the game itself, the line between reality and virtual horrors becoming increasingly blurred. The realization that I'm about to face the nightmares that once haunted the digital realm in a real setting sends a shiver down my spine, the anticipation and dread building with every passing moment. Suddenly, the sound of noises coming from the kitchen downstairs breaks the tense silence, sending a jolt of fear through me. My senses are immediately heightened, and I instinctively raise my handgun, ready to face whatever threat may be lurking in the darkness. The thought that the nightmare animatronics may have come to life sends a shiver down my spine and adds to the mounting tension within the house. With heightened vigilance, I carefully descend the stairs, senses on high alert. The sound of the noises in the kitchen intensifies as I near the doorway, and my mind races through possible explanations. As I approach, I mentally prepare myself for the possibility of facing the nightmare animatronics, the tension building with each step. My grip tightens on the handgun, anticipating the unknown horrors that lie just beyond the kitchen door. As I peer into the kitchen, my heart skips a beat at the sight of Nightmare Chica rummaging around in the shadows. The fear that courses through me at the realization that the animatronics have come to life is overwhelming, and I feel my grip on the handgun tighten. My mind races with thoughts of what actions to take next as I observe the animatronic's movements, trying to determine its intentions in this unexpected situation. As I watch Nightmare Chica rummage around the kitchen, I can't help but feel a mixture of fascination and horror at the sight of the animatronic searching through drawers and cabinets, its movements eerily similar to those in the game. The possibility that it's looking for pizza adds a strange layer of surrealism to the already tense situation. Despite the danger, I can't tear my gaze away, morbidly captivated by the sight of the nightmare animatronic in my reality. Suddenly, Nightmare Chica detects my presence, pivoting around to face me, her glowing red eye and blue eye locking onto me with a menacing gaze. The realization that I'm now the focus of the animatronic's attention sends a bolt of fear and adrenaline through me, and I instinctively raise my handgun, preparing to defend myself from the nightmarish creature. The tension in the room climbs to a new level as the standoff between me and Nightmare Chica intensifies. As Nightmare Chica growls and roars, preparing to attack, my heart pounds frantically in my chest. The realization that I'm about to face a charging animatronic fills me with dread, and I quickly aim my handgun, steeling myself for the confrontation. The room feels like it's closing in on me as the animatronic advances, its glowing eyes filled with malicious intent, and all I can do is hold my ground and prepare for the onslaught. With quick reflexes, I manage to dodge Nightmare Chica's sudden lunge, narrowly avoiding her sharp claws. The adrenaline coursing through my veins propels me into the living room, leaving the animatronic in the dust behind me. My heart is racing, and I can feel the weight of the situation as I scramble for a moment of respite and devise a plan to confront the nightmare animatronic. My nerves on edge, I swiftly aim my handgun at Nightmare Chica and fire 4 shots, one finding its mark on the animatronic's face. The impact of the bullet sends a shock wave through Chica, momentarily stunning her. However, the nightmare animatronic quickly regains her composure and continues her pursuit, closing in on me as I scramble to reload my weapon with trembling hands. With grim determination, I swiftly fire 3 more shots at Nightmare Chica's face. The impact of the bullets causes the animatronic to stagger and collapse, vanishing before my eyes. A mixture of relief and disbelief washes over me as I realize that I was able to fend off the nightmare animatronic. Breathing heavily, I take a moment to catch my breath and process what just happened, the adrenaline still coursing through my veins. Exhilaration and disbelief flood my senses as I successfully fought off Nightmare Chica, a nightmare that had come to life within the very walls of the FNAF 4 house. The adrenaline still coursing through my veins, I allow myself a brief moment to catch my breath and regroup, contemplating the next steps in facing the other animatronics. The lingering fear and the surreal nature of what I've just experienced sent chills down my spine, reminding me of the dangers that lurk in this dark and twisted house. My mind reels with the knowledge that I've come face to face with the nightmarish animatronics from the famous FNAF 4 video game, the reality of my situation gradually settling in. The realization that I'm in the heart of the game's nightmare, confronting the horrors that once terrified players, adds a layer of intensity to this already chilling experience. The room feels like an extension of the game, the lines between fiction and reality increasingly blurred, and the gravity of the situation only heightens my nerves and anticipation. My attention shifts as the sound of footsteps upstairs breaks the eerie silence, sending a shiver down my spine. My senses are instantly heightened, and my heart rate quickens with the realization that another animatronic may be lurking nearby. I clutch my handgun tightly, ready to face whatever creature may emerge from the darkness above. With cautious steps, I ascend the stairs, the sound of my footsteps echoing faintly in the quiet halls. The tension in the air is palpable as I brace myself for what may lie ahead. The adrenaline pumping through my veins adds to the heightened senses, and I can practically hear my own heartbeat echoing in my ears. As I continue my journey through the ominous halls, the knowledge that another nightmarish encounter could be just around the corner keeps me on high alert. Suddenly, my gaze falls upon another nightmare animatronic lurking in a dark hallway, its glowing eyes piercing through the shadows. A chill runs down my spine as I process the sight before me, the realization that I have encountered another nightmarish creature from the game hitting me like a punch to the gut. My heart pounds heavily as I take a moment to prepare myself for the encounter, mentally steeling myself for whatever horrors the animatronic may unleash. As the animatronic moves by, it doesn't seem to notice my presence, perplexing me. I realize the reason for this is due to the fact that I left my flashlight off, making me inconspicuous to the animatronic. A sense of relief washes over me, and I silently follow the animatronic, making sure to maintain my distance in the darkened halls. As I carefully observe the animatronic, its purple eyes confirm my suspicion that this is likely Nightmare Bonnie. The realization sends a shiver down my spine, knowing that I'm now tailing a creature known for its uncanny stealth and agility. I continue to follow the animatronic, carefully studying its movements and searching for any weakness or opportunity to confront it before it senses my presence. Suddenly, Nightmare Bonnie turns around, its piercing gaze locking onto my presence in the darkened hallway. The tension in the air thickens as the animatronic realizes my presence, its menacing eyes glowing in the shadows. I take a deep breath, bracing myself for an inevitable confrontation, my grip on my handgun tightening as I prepare to face the nightmarish rabid animatronic from the game. With a guttural roar, Nightmare Bonnie charges at me, its movements filled with a terrifying speed. I instinctively raise my handgun, ready to defend myself against the animatronic's onslaught. My heart pounds heavily in my chest as I await the imminent impact, adrenaline coursing through my veins and preparing me for the confrontation. In a flash, I sidestep Nightmare Bonnie's charge, narrowly avoiding its sharp claws. The adrenaline rushes through me, and I take advantage of the animatronic's momentary confusion to swiftly circle around, trying to find a way to disarm or incapacitate the creature before it regains its bearings and retaliates. With a steady hand, I point my handgun at Nightmare Bonnie and fire at the animatronic, aiming for any vulnerable spots. The sound of gunfire fills the air as the bullets impact the animatronic's metallic frame, causing it to stagger and momentarily falter. The brief respite allows me to regroup and assess my next move, knowing that the Nightmare Rabbit is far from defeated. With a sudden lunge, Nightmare Bonnie attempts to attack once more, but I swiftly sidestep its relentless charge, avoiding contact with its sharp claws. Adrenaline and instincts drive my movements as I continue to dance around the animatronic, trying to keep my distance while seeking an opportunity to strike it down. With unwavering determination, I aim my handgun once more and fire at Nightmare Bonnie. The bullets find their mark, impacting the animatronic with force and causing it to stumble back. The tension in the air is palpable as I prepare for Bonnie's next move, knowing that I haven't yet dealt a decisive blow to the nightmarish creature. A surge of determination fuels me as I focus my aim and fire once more, the bullet finding its mark and striking Nightmare Bonnie in the face. The impact sends the animatronic stumbling back, its legs giving way and causing it to collapse to the ground. The sight of the fallen Nightmare animatronic elicits a mixture of relief and satisfaction. As the adrenaline continues to flow, I swiftly reload my handgun, ensuring that I'm fully prepared for whatever encounters may await me in the nightmarish house. I carefully make my way through the dimly lit halls, my senses sharpened and my nerves on edge, ready to face whatever horror may come next. Suddenly, the sound of two distinct noises emanating from the FNAF 4 bedroom grabs my attention. My senses immediately go on high alert, and my heart rate quickens in anticipation of the potential dangers that lie ahead. As I enter the bedroom, my eyes land on the two animatronic figures. One stands in the closet, staring with glowing eyes, while the other is perched on the bed. The sight of these menacing figures from the game sends a chill down my spine, reminding me that I'm immersed in the nightmarish world of FNAF 4. The illumination from my gun's flashlight pierces the darkness, revealing the terrifying forms of the animatronics. Nightmare Freddy, perched on the bed, looks sinister, while Nightmare Foxy, hiding in the closet, stares back with menacing eyes. The sight of these creatures sends a shiver down my spine, and the realization that I'll have to face both of them sinks in. The tension in the room is palpable as I prepare for another potentially deadly encounter. Without warning, Nightmare Freddy leaps into the air and lunges at me, its razor-sharp claws outstretched. My heart pounds in my chest as I sidestep the animatronic's attack, narrowly avoiding its deadly reach. The adrenaline coursing through my veins sharpens my reflexes, and I maintain my distance from the nightmarish bear, assessing the situation before making my next move. Quickly steadying my aim, I point my handgun at Nightmare Freddy and fire a volley of bullets. The shots ring out, striking the animatronic with force. Despite the impact, the Nightmare Bear continues its relentless pursuit, undeterred by my attempts to keep him at bay. With a swift sidestep, I evade Nightmare Freddy's fearsome lunge, narrowly avoiding his sharp claws. The realization that even direct gunfire isn't stopping the animatronic fuels my urgency to find a weakness. I quickly reload my handgun and fire another volley of shots, carefully aiming for any vulnerable points on the Nightmare Bear. The seventh bullet finds its mark, striking Nightmare Freddy in the head and sending him stumbling back. The impact causes the animatronic to collapse to the ground, momentarily immobilized. The sight of the fallen animatronic offers me a brief reprieve, but I understand that the danger is far from over. As Nightmare Freddy vanishes, a sudden movement in the corner of my eye catches my attention. Nightmare Foxy, who had been lurking in the shadows, bursts out of the closet, its glowing eyes fixated on me. The adrenaline coursing through my veins heightens my senses, ready for the next onslaught. With a fierce roar, Nightmare Foxy readies its hook, preparing to strike. I quickly raise my handgun, aiming it at the nightmarish animatronic, ready to defend myself from the imminent attack. In a split-second reflex, I sidestep the nightmarish animatronic's lunging attack, the quick movement putting me just out of reach. I quickly aim my handgun and fire a shot, sending the bullet straight towards Nightmare Foxy's chest. As the bullet connects with Nightmare Foxy, it staggers back slightly, but remains standing. Realizing that the shot only slowed the animatronic, I quickly prepare to fire again, aiming at a different target, hoping to find a more vulnerable spot. Despite the impact of the second bullet, Nightmare Foxy rallies and leaps towards me again, its hook poised for attack. I sidestep once more, narrowly avoiding the animatronic's hook. The adrenaline continues to pump through my veins, fueling my every action as I hastily prepare for the next onslaught. Seizing the opportunity, I carefully aim my handgun at Nightmare Foxy's head and pull the trigger, firing a well-placed shot. The bullet impacts the animatronic's head, making it stagger back and collapse in a heap. As Nightmare Foxy vanishes before my eyes, it dawns on me that I must continue to stay vigilant and on my guard, as the horrors of the FNAF 4 house still lurk in the shadows. The adrenaline begins to subside, but the realization that the encounter might not be over yet keeps me on edge. Taking a moment to catch my breath and collect my thoughts, my senses sharp and my nerves on edge, I prepare for the next encounter. The thought of facing an even more dangerous animatronic fills me with a mixture of anticipation and trepidation, knowing that the Nightmare House holds many more horrors in store. 3 hours pass as the air remains eerily quiet, the unsettling silence enveloping the nightmare house. As time drags on, my guard wavers slightly, the constant state of high alert taking its toll on my mental and physical endurance. I take this opportunity to assess my situation and rest my weary muscles and racing mind, knowing that the tranquility might not last long. As the thunderstorm rages on outside, the rhythmic sound of raindrops and distant thunder serves as a backdrop to the silence within the nightmare house. The intermittent flashes of lightning peeking through the windows provide brief moments of illumination, casting eerie shadows throughout the room and fueling the overall sinister atmosphere of the environment. The sudden change in the sound effect catches me off guard, my heart skipping a beat as I listen closely to identify the source. The distinct sound of running footsteps echoes through the house, an unexpected and menacing development that sends a shiver down my spine and instantly heightens my senses. With my heart racing and my senses on high alert, I ready myself for the impending encounter, clutching my handgun tightly and bracing myself for whatever is to come. The ominous sound of footsteps growing louder increases the tension in the air, making it clear that I must be prepared for whatever nightmare creature is approaching. I cautiously peer through the doorway, eyes widening as I catch sight of a pair of glowing red eyes in the distance, piercing the darkness of the hallway. The realization that another animatronic is lurking nearby sends a chill down my spine, and I quickly prepare myself for the oncoming encounter. The sound of a deep and sinister laugh echoes through the house, sending goosebumps down my arms. The sheer malevolence and foreboding nature of the laughter confirms that this is no ordinary animatronic I'm dealing with. The beam from my gun's flashlight illuminates the darkness, revealing the haunting figure of Nightmare Fredbear at the end of the left hallway. The nightmarish animatronic stands menacingly, its glowing red eyes fixating on me. The sheer size and menacing aura of Nightmare Fredbear send a shiver down my spine, and I brace myself for the impending confrontation. Fredbear emits another bone-chilling laugh as he charges down the hallway, his movements faster and more aggressive than the other animatronics I've faced thus far. I focus on my aim, knowing that I must land my shots in critical areas to have any chance of slowing down the nightmarish animatronic. I brace myself as Fredbear rapidly closes the distance between us. With a flurry of bullets, I fire at Nightmare Fredbear, aiming for any weak spots that might slow him down. The shots ring out, their impact causing the animatronic to stumble momentarily. Despite the bullets connecting, Nightmare Fredbear continues his relentless approach, seemingly unfazed by the onslaught. As Nightmare Fredbear continues his relentless pursuit, I make a hasty retreat, running out the other doorway and into the right hallway. With Fredbear still hot on my trail, I frantically search for an escape, knowing that the nightmarish animatronic won't give up the chase easily. In a desperate bid to escape Nightmare Fredbear, I quickly dash downstairs, the sound of my footsteps echoing through the hallway. The urgency and adrenaline coursing through my veins propel me forward as I desperately seek a way to lose the murderous animatronic that is fixated on my demise. As I dart down the stairs, the sound of Nightmare Fredbear's heavy footsteps resonating behind me, growing louder as he relentlessly pursues me. The realization that the animatronic is gaining on me fuels my desperation to find a way to evade it, or at least buy myself some time. In a last-ditch attempt to stop Nightmare Fredbear in his tracks, I pivot and aim my gun towards the animatronic's crotch. The bullets hit their mark, causing the nightmarish bear to stumble and cry out in pain. The impact gives me a brief moment to catch my breath and distance myself from the enraged animatronic. Nightmare Fredbear crumbles to his knees, clutching his wounded crotch area in agony and intense pain. The sight of the nightmarish animatronic writhing on the floor fuels a mix of relief and determination within me. With a steady hand, I aim my handgun and fire at Nightmare Fredbear's face, unleashing a well-placed shot at the vulnerable area. The impact makes the animatronic stagger back, reeling from the attack. Despite the damage, Nightmare Fredbear doesn't seem to be fully defeated yet, but the wound slows his movements, buying me some valuable time. With a final shot, I watch as Nightmare Fredbear vanishes before my eyes, the sight of the nightmarish animatronic disappearing from sight bringing me some respite. As I gather my wits and take a moment to catch my breath, I take stock of the situation and assess the damage inflicted upon the animatronic and myself. With a quick practice motion, I carefully reload my handgun, ensuring that it's ready for the next encounter. The sound of the bullets sliding into the chamber fills the air, adding a sense of urgency and preparedness as I anticipate the next nightmare animatronic to appear. The familiar sound of Nightmare Fredbear's laughter continues to echo through the house, creating a sense of confusion as I had thought I had defeated the animatronic. The realization that the laughter continues despite Fredbear's defeat is unnerving and makes me wonder what other twisted surprises lie in store for me within this nightmarish house. Curiosity piqued, I cautiously make my way upstairs and enter the room that bears a striking resemblance to Michael Afton's room. As I glance around, the eerie familiarity of the surroundings sends a shiver down my spine, and I brace myself for what horrors might lurk within this particular room. As I scan the room, my eyes immediately lock onto a pair of glowing red eyes in the distance. The sight of these sinister orbs piercing the darkness sends a shiver down my spine, and I hastily clutch my handgun tightly, preparing for the imminent threat lurking within this room. As the beam of my flashlight illuminates the room, the mystery animatronic materializes in the light, revealing its ominous pitch-black form. Despite the darkness, I can make out its shape that resembles Nightmare Fredbear, but with a distinct difference. Yellow accessories instead of the purple ones I encountered previously. The sight of this mysterious Nightmare Fredbear variant sends a shiver down my spine, and I brace myself for what horrors it might bring. The eerie noise emanating from this unusual animatronic is unlike any I've heard before. It sounds like a broken walkie-talkie blending with the howling of a hurricane-force wind. The hair on the back of my neck stands on end as I listen to the unnerving symphony of sounds, unsure what to make of this mysterious animatronic and the potential danger it poses. As I closely observe the Nightmare animatronic, the realization strikes me that this is none other than Nightmare himself, the most vicious and aggressive among all the Nightmare animatronics, and even more relentless than Fredbear. My heart pounds in my chest as I brace myself for the impending encounter, knowing that this will be a dangerous and harrowing confrontation. Without warning, Nightmare lunges at me with incredible speed, his menacing form closing the distance in a matter of seconds. My heart races as I scramble to react, stumbling backward to evade the animatronic's aggressive advance. The room fills with the sound of my panting and the creaking of the floorboards under Nightmare's weight as he closes in. I quickly dash down the stairs, my heart pounding in my chest, and I sprint into one of the guest rooms in the downstairs hallway behind the living room. With Nightmare's aggressive pursuit and relentless speed, I know I need to find a place to hide and catch my breath before he catches up to me. With no time to waste, I hastily yet carefully reload my handgun, this time with a new magazine filled with silver bullets. I know these bullets are stronger and more effective against supernatural entities, and Nightmare has proved to be a relentless and aggressive one. My heart races as I brace myself for the inevitable moment when Nightmare will burst through the door. Adrenaline courses through my veins, fueling my heightened senses and preparing me for the harrowing encounter that's about to unfold. The room feels eerily quiet, the anticipation filling the air as I await the nightmarish animatronic's impending attack. There's no time to think as Nightmare forcefully enters the guest room, his presence filling the cramped space with a foreboding aura. My heart pounds in my chest as I swiftly prepare myself for the intense confrontation. The once quiet room has transformed into a battlefield, with Nightmare's menacing form stalking closer. Summoning every ounce of courage, I quickly raise my handgun and fire a precise silver bullet, aiming for Nightmare's stomach. The bullet finds its mark, striking the nightmarish animatronic in the abdomen. Nightmare stumbles back, momentarily disoriented and shaken by the impact. Building on the success of previous shot, I quickly fire again, aiming with determination for Nightmare's chest. The silver bullet strikes true, finding its mark against the animatronic's frame. The force of the shot causes Nightmare to stumble back further. Seizing the opportunity, I fire another quick shot, this time aimed directly at Nightmare's face. With a precise aim, the silver bullet strikes true, knocking the nightmarish animatronic off its feet and leaving it temporarily incapacitated. As Nightmare falls to the ground, the eerie silence that fills the room confirms the nightmarish animatronic's defeat. My gaze remains fixed on the unmoving form, ensuring that it doesn't pull another surprise trick or rise again. Despite the exhaustion and the lingering sense of danger, a wave of relief washes over me, knowing that I've survived yet another nightmarish encounter. With a mix of exhaustion and determination, I take a moment to glance around the room, ensuring that no other horrors lurk in the shadows. As I prepare to make my way towards the exit, I take one final glance at the spot where Nightmare's lifeless form lay, now vanished without a trace. The adrenaline from the intense encounters is fading, replaced by a weariness that settles into my bones. Yet, a sense of urgency propels me forward, knowing that it is time to escape the haunting FNAF 4 house. Making my way out of the FNAF 4 house, I quickly run back towards my Hummer, dodging the heavy downpour that continues to drench the area. The sound of my heavy footsteps splashing through the puddles adds to the urgency of the moment as I strive to reach the safety of my vehicle before getting too soaked by the relentless storm. With my heart racing and the rain lashing against my skin, I hastily scramble into the Hummer's driver's seat, closing the door behind me and escaping the fierce onslaught of the storm. The vehicle hums to life as I start the engine, the warm air blasting from the heater providing a momentary reprieve from the chill. As I take a moment to catch my breath, the weight of the relentless Nightmare House encounter begins to settle upon me, the echoes of the horrors I've witnessed still resonating in my mind. With the Hummer's engine roaring to life, I pull out of the driveway and steer the vehicle back onto the main road. The tires churn through the rain-soaked pavement, propelling me away from the haunting FNAF 4 house. The distance between me and the nightmarish house grows with each passing moment, offering a measure of comfort and security. As I drive, I glance in the rearview mirror, ensuring that no ominous figures follow my retreat. As I continue driving through the storm-soaked roads, the fierce downpour shows no signs of letting up. Visibility is reduced, the wipers working overtime to clear the windshield of raindrops. Despite the challenging conditions, I remain focused on navigating the vehicle safely back home, my adrenaline pumping and my senses heightened due to the nightmarish encounters in the FNAF house. The journey feels like an eternity as I yearn for the sanctuary of home, the relentless storm adding an extra layer of tension to the already harrowing experience. With a sigh of relief, I finally arrive at my home, safely parking the Hummer in the garage. The storm continues to rage outside, battering the windows with rain and the occasional clap of thunder. Although I am safe within my own abode, the memories of the nightmare I've endured linger in the back of my mind, a harsh reminder of the horrors that lie hidden behind the veil of darkness. As I step out of the Hummer and enter my house, the warmth and familiarity of its walls offer a sense of comfort after the harrowing experiences in the FNAF house. The sound of the howling storm outside creates an eerie ambiance, but within the safety of my home, I am able to find solace from the nightmarish encounters. Though the memories of the horrors endured in the house still linger in the back of my mind, I can at last take a moment to catch my breath and find a brief respite from the relentless onslaught of danger and terror. As I make my way further into the house, the tantalizing aroma of sizzling steak and fragrant rice wafts through the air, mingling with the scent of freshly prepared salad. The enticing fragrances stir my appetite, providing a stark contrast to the harrowing experiences I endured in the Nightmare House. The promise of a comforting meal ahead acts as a welcome distraction from the horrors that still haunt my thoughts. Emily emerges from the kitchen, holding a plate of delectable food adorned with a warm smile. The sight of the perfectly cooked steak, tender rice, and crisp salad artfully arranged on the plate warms my weary heart. My exhaustion and lingering fear seem to dissipate slightly as I savor the sight of the meal she has lovingly prepared. As I take an initial bite of the savory steak, relishing the rich flavor, I begin recounting the events of the FNAF 4 house to Emily. The memory of the horrifying encounters, the nightmarish animatronics, and the relentless storm still fresh in my mind. I recall the details of the harrowing ordeal. Emily listens intently, her expressions ranging from shock to concern as she absorbs the tale of the terrifying experiences I endured. With each word I speak, the harrowing encounters in the FNAF house come to life once more in my retelling. Emily listens quietly, her emotions flickering across her face as she processes the tale of the nightmarish adventure. The storm continues outside, providing a melancholic backdrop to the conversation, emphasizing the contrast between the comfort of home and the horrors of the Nightmare House. As I finish recounting the events of the FNAF house, Emily's reactions range from fear to intrigue and excitement. Despite the daunting nature of the ordeal, her love for Five Nights at Freddy's adds an element of intrigue and fascination to the tale, sparking a sense of wonder amidst the horror. Her wide-eyed expression and the flicker of curiosity in her eyes indicate that she has become even more captivated by the mysterious and terrifying world of FNAF. With the lingering memories of the FNAF house still fresh in our minds, Emily and I share an intimate moment after dinner. We step closer, the warm glow of the room surrounding us as we begin a slow dance. Our bodies move in synchrony, the rhythm of our breaths, and the gentle beat of our hearts creating a tender harmony. The horrors of the nightmare house seem but a distant memory as we find solace and comfort in each other's arms during this quiet, romantic dance. As the dance continues, Emily and I close the space between us even further, our bodies pressed comfortably against each other. The warmth of her embrace provides a soothing balm to the stress and trepidation I experienced in the FNAF house. In this quiet moment, the world outside seems to fade away, leaving only the two of us and the intimate connection that binds us together. Despite the terrors I've endured, I find a sense of solace and reassurance in Emily's closeness and the love we share. With our bodies intertwined in a tender embrace, Emily and I head to bed for the night, ready to seek comfort and refuge under the sheets. The soft glow of the nightlight casts a gentle light upon the room, creating a cozy ambiance. As we lie in bed together, the horrors of the FNAF house slowly fade into the background, replaced by a sense of security and respite that only the embrace of a loved one can provide. As we lie together in the comfort of our bed, a gentle breeze drifts through the partially open window, bringing with it the faint sounds of the night. I pull Emily closer, relishing in the warmth of her body against mine. Despite the harrowing encounter in the FNAF house, the tranquility of this moment allows me to find solace and respite, and I relish the intimacy and peace that we share before drifting off to sleep.